Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another glorious episode of Brad's Bourbon Reviews, the podcast. Yes, it's been a minute. I have an explanation. We'll get to that shortly. But this is kind of a turning point in the show. You can see by the title of this video that things are not the same. Timmy is not here with us, and I will get to that shortly. But I kind of wanted to talk about the direction the podcast is going. From the start, I don't even know if Timmy knows this. He's going to hear this for sure, and I'm sure he'll text me about it. But initially, when I started doing this podcast, or when I had the idea for this podcast, the idea for it was for me to interview people in the bourbon and whiskey community and do interviews with distillers and distilleries and, kind of learn more about the industry as a whole. And I did that a few times with having Randy Sullivan on the podcast from Bourbon Real Talk. And that was one of my favorite episodes of the show, honestly, just because it was so insightful. And that dude is like an encyclopedia of information. But when I met Timmy, that kind of changed because I had an instant connection with him and we became very close very quickly. And I love him very much. He knows this. And he has decided to take a step back from the podcast. And I am going to kind of take it and run with the original direction that I had for it because I'm very interested in doing that. But I also feel like the dynamic between me and him on the show kind of can't be replicated. And I think it would be weird to have a permanent host that is not him on the show. And I'm sure he'll come back at some point, and actually he has provided a statement he wants me to read on the podcast. I have not read it yet, so I don't know if his step away is temporary or if it is permanent, but in the meantime, that is the plan for the podcast going forward, and it will start being weekly now that it is just me that I have to worry about getting this out. Now, the videos, the reviews, and all the and the top 10s and the stuff I've been doing over on YouTube and TikTok, that will not be affected in any way by this announcement. The podcast is just extra content for you guys to enjoy if you're a whiskey fan. But I wanted to just this is not a full episode either. I just kind of wanted to let you guys know what was going on because there's been a lull again in the show. Most of that was my fault, to be honest. Deleting multiple episodes at a time will screw your schedule up. But there is going to be consistency going forward. And before we go any further, I want to give his statement that he wanted me to read on the show. Again, I have not read this yet at all. I think I read the first word when he sent it to me because I wanted to make sure it was him. It's fairly long, so I'm going to go ahead and read it. And he says, August 2024, the following is a statement from the Bottom Shelf King. Thank you to Brad at Brad's Bourbon Reviews for reading this for me. Hello, Whiskey Bourbon World. I wanted to release a statement about why I've chosen to step away from the Whiskey Bourbon World, as well as my current status and future in it. When I found the social world of WB Whiskey Bourbon Reviews and creators, I was like many beginning my journey into more than whiskey and Coke and curious about newer, higher-end stuff. It was a fun, lighthearted thing where you could say, nah, that's not my thing, and not be called names and told you wrong. People support each other, but as of late, my mind, and mind you, this is my opinion, it's becoming something really different. So much gatekeeping and hoarding, the creators trying to one-up each other, whose collection is bigger, who's got a pick of this or that pick, who's got the most X bottle. It seems like everyone's out for themselves, and the old CYA and damn, I don't know what CYA is, what that means, and damn everyone else. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Time will tell. Now, I'm well aware of the things I've said and the shade I've thrown, some justified, some not. Most of it was to stir the pot since I've noticed fans of anything are really triggered so easily, especially Buffalo Trace fans. Well, it's becoming the many following the few and the few don't want to give up their spot on top, and in my opinion, that's not what it should be about. We all know what opinions are like, eh? As I said before, my intentions were and are to bring an open, honest POV to bottom shelf products, while also giving an observation on higher end too. There are many people out there who want to see a review of that bottle there and drop the hard-earned $20-$50 on whatever, where the reviewer won't shit on it. In a way, we have become the problem. Don't talk for me. People outstepping each other to get X or Y, find X or find Y. Dude, you got to do better. I'm legitimately reading this verbatim. And how many can I get? I mean, come on. Is there any reason to have over 3, any brand or batch? It doesn't make you a collector. It makes you a doucher because there are many people out there that you're robbing of a chance to try something And maybe see, you're still off on this, dude. Perhaps we need to take a look at the mirror and look at what we're doing. There's nothing wrong. I'm going to step in here. I know he wants me to read this, but you're saying stupid shit still, dude. Like, that is so fucking stupid. The reason you get different batches is to compare them. Okay, now for me, all of these things I've discussed are just my point of view, opinion. If I'm wrong, cool. There's a few, you are. There's a few things in the right I'm cool about. Cool. I'm not out here to make anyone else but myself happy. As of reading this, I'm 3 weeks dry and I feel great. Many factors have played into who I was and where my head was at. Sounds like it was still there at the writing of this. A lot of anger, and I drank to cope. I began taking the steps to get healthy and clear my mind, beginning with not drinking and making better diet choices and seeking mental help finally. Good for you, buddy. As well as preparing for an extensive oral surgery that will put me in the shell for a bit. All of these things, like some will do, hit at once, and it affected me. Hence why I'm stepping back to rebuild, recover, and focus, and return with an open mind and fresh palate, ready for corrupting. LOL. As a new BSK, one hopefully worthy of a second chance. I'm aware I've pissed a lot of people off, and I'm sure I've blocked by many, and that's okay. We may not all agree on everything, but we can agree we all love whiskey. Thank you to my followers and the followers of the Brad's Bourbon Reviews podcast as well. My friends and family, thank you to Brad for reading this, and it shows me what kind of friend you are. And thank you. I love you. You know that. In closing, I wish to say, may your glass stay full and your bottle be bountiful. As long as it's not some more of the same batch, right? Cheers, Tim, the bottom shelf K. And don't forget, always BSK all fucking day. So that is his statement. And there's a lot in there that's like still wrong. And I'm sorry. And I know you're going to get mad at me for saying that, but like you're just off on some shit. But that's where we're at. That's where we're standing. Thanks to him for being a great co-host of the podcast while it lasted. And I'm excited to do this new version of this. This is going to be a good time. And I'm sure when he wants to come back on, I'll have him on. But I think for now, I'm just going to focus and do my thing and kind of do the podcast that I had always wanted to do initially. But, found a great co-host in Tim. And, outside of the dumb shit he says sometimes, he's a good person. I'm just giving him a hard time here. Not really. I think some of the shit you said was pretty stupid. But I'm excited for the future of the podcast. I think it's going to be a good time. I think it's going to be more structured than it used to be, for sure, because it used to be like we kind of nailed the format down in the last recording session. I don't know if you guys have even heard any of those episodes where we announced the 3 pours we're going to do and kind of do them at 3 different points in the show, and you kind of drink along with us if you can, which is a fun concept for a show, but I think the interview style is more what I like, and I'm excited to be able to do that. So that's this episode. That's it. There's nothing more to it than that, but next week, I'm going to bring someone on, and I have an idea for a guest, and provided they're available, it's going to be a hell of a show. So thank you guys for sticking around. I know this has been such a pain in the ass, but I do have some information coming about a barrel pick that I'm doing soon, so please make sure you stay aware for that, because I'm going to need you guys to step up. It's my first ever barrel pick, and I don't want to lose my ass on it. So I'll let you guys know more about that in the future. And outside of that, thank you guys for paying attention to the reviews and subscribing and all that stuff. It's been crazy. The growth has been nuts, especially the last 3 or 4 months. So I really appreciate you guys very much. And I will see you guys on the next one. Until then, cheers.